New channels added was the message that appeared on my TV when I turned it on. I was curious as to what channels could have been added, and I was a bit excited, as I was getting sick of the same news, sports, and movie channels that I constantly flick through. I brought up the TV guide and scrolled through, looking at what new channels I now had access to. There were a couple of standard ones, showing reruns of old sitcoms, a channel that was exclusively for sheepdog trials, and one that only showed infomercials. I was pretty disappointed in the new selection, and in only 10 minutes, I had flicked past all of them and gotten bored. I decided to scroll through all of the channels once more in case something more exciting was now playing. I went through a station playing an old episode of Friends. I quickly skipped over the sheepdog trials, and I landed on the infomercial channel. I don't know what it was that compelled me to keep watching the station. Maybe it was the man wearing the bright purple suit. Maybe it was the nice golden watch they were selling. Or maybe it was the way the man in the bright purple suit was smiling at me. Whatever the reason though, I ended up engrossed in this channel and continued to watch.
This 24-karat gold watch is just the thing you need to show off to your friends,
the man in the purple suit was saying.
And for today's special, you can get it for just 3 easy payment of $19.99.
No way that can be real, I thought. A real golden watch for only $60? I continued to watch the advert, and the man kept on going with his sales pitch.
Certified real gold, and for the low price of 3 payments of $19.99,
he said while smiling.
And it can be all yours today.
He continued to speak, all while smiling straight at the camera. Straight at me. I don't know what compelled me to pick up the phone and dial the number that was on the screen. The way the man smiled at me, and the way he told me that I needed this watch, made me feel secure. It made me feel like I should ring and order one. As soon as I entered the number into my phone and hit dial, a voice on the other end suddenly answered.
Hello, I suppose you are ringing about the watches.
A woman's voice said. Yes. I was wondering if they are actually real gold, and if they are actually only 3 payments of $19.99, I asked.
Well, of course they are,
she replied, in a way that wasn't condescending but wasn't really polite either.
We are not here to scam you. We are here to help you out with a good deal.
I thought about it for a moment, and then decided that I would purchase one. If they turn out to be real, then I was spending $60 on something that could worth a small fortune, so why the hell not? I placed my order by giving my name, my bank details, and my address so that it could be shipped out to me. The lady on the phone told me to expect my order in the next 3 to 5 business days. I hung up the phone and turned off the TV, happy with my purchase. I then decided to head outside and play with my dog for a while. As we played fetch, all I could think about was the watch and whether or not it would be real. I patiently waited over the next few days, and on the 4th day after placing my order, I heard a van out the front. It stopped just outside of my house. I heard it idle for around 20 seconds, and then I heard it take off again. I went out the front of my house and collected the box that I found sitting at the front of my yard. I took it inside and opened it. Inside, I found a shiny golden watch that was sitting inside of a small box. I picked it up and a closer look at it. I was amazed at the way the sun bounced off of what appeared to be pure gold. I knew that there was only one way to find out its true value, and that was to take it to a jeweler to have it evaluated. Later that day, I found myself at the jewelry store. watching an older man looking at my watch through a magnifying glass. He had been studying it for over 10 minutes now. Eventually, he placed the magnifying glass down and looked up at me.
"It's a very impressive watch you have here, sir,"
he said.
"Very impressive indeed."
He delicately handed me back the watch and began saying a sentence that would change my life.
"I would say in its current condition, this watch is worth about $55,000.
I couldn't believe it. How could somewhere sell a watch worth that much for so cheap? I stood in shock for a little while before thanking the jeweler and leaving the store. Once I got home, I placed the watch on my kitchen table and just stared at it in disbelief. I had a small fortune sitting in front of me, and I had barely paid anything for it. Something inside of me then told me to find the station again and to see what other items they may be selling. I went over to the television and turned it on, went to the TV guide and found the station once more. Once again, the man in the purple suit was staring right into the camera. This time, however, he was holding two small birds, one in each hand.
"These racing pigeons may look ordinary, but they are really something else,"
he was saying excitedly.
"Worth at over $200,000 each. These birds are a great investment, and for today only, we have the great deal of buy one, get one 50% off."
As he was talking, a phone number appeared on the screen. I saw that this number was different from last time, but I thought this could be because it was for a different product. The one thing the man didn't mention was the price, but after getting the watches for so cheap, I thought that these birds probably wouldn't cost too much. I had never thought about owning birds. I got enough love from my dog, and so had never considered buying another pet. However, the man said they were worth over $200,000 each, so I knew I had to have them. I typed the number on the screen into my phone and hit dial. Once again, a woman answered the phone straight away, but I could tell by the voice that it was a different woman than last time.
You must have enjoyed your watch if you are already ordering again,
she said, and gave a slight chuckle afterwards. I was a bit taken aback by this, but realized they probably have my number saved, and that's how she knew. I was very satisfied with my watch, thank you, I replied. Now I am interested in those racing pigeons you have for sale.
Oh yes, the buy one get one 50% sale?
She asked. Yeah, that's the one. I was wondering how much they were, I asked her.
Don't worry about the price, hun. They are worth a lot more than we would charge you for them,
she answered.
But a small payment will be taken from you. I have put your order through, so expect them to arrive in 2 to 3 days.
Suddenly, she hung up. Before I even had the chance to respond, she was gone. I didn't know what she meant by a small payment. I had many questions, and so I dialed the number again. But this time, the call didn't go through. There was just silence. I tried not to think about it too much over the next couple of days. I'm sure everything will be okay, I thought. I constantly checked my bank account to see if any money had been taken out, but nothing had been. 3 days later, though, I was awoken early in the morning by the sound of a van parking out the front of my house, idling for a bit, then driving away. I knew exactly what it was. My delivery had arrived. I got out of my bed and went outside, and see a small box sitting on my front lawn. Small air holes were cut into the box, and I could hear the sound of something flapping inside, sounding like it was trying to get out. I picked up the box and took it inside and decided to open it. The sight that greeted me inside of the box will be something that will always haunt me. The first thing that hit me when I opened the box was the smell. The strong, overpowering stench smelled like rotting meat. Suddenly, a bird flew upwards out of the box, hitting me in the face with its wing on the way out. This dazed me for a couple of seconds, and then I looked up at the bird that was now flying around my kitchen. It was definitely a pigeon, and hopefully an expensive one. I then looked back down into the box to see where the other pigeon was, and then I saw it. Covered in blood, at the bottom of the box was the top half of a pigeon. Its head and half of its body were lying in the box. Its bottom half was nowhere to be seen. Blood covered the entire bottom of the box, and the pigeon's dead eyes were looking up at me. I let out a small scream and pushed the box away from me. I couldn't believe what I had seen. I was disturbed. Who could do something like this? I thought. What kind of television station would send something like this out? I now understood what they meant by 50% off though. I didn't know what to do with the package, and I couldn't bring myself to look in it again, so it stayed sitting on my kitchen table. I sat in my lounge room, trying to get away from the package. I once again checked my bank account, and still, no payment had been made. This made me curious as to what the payment would be, and also made me extremely worried about what the payment would be. That's when I heard it again. The van. It pulled up outside of my house. I got up out of my chair and went to open the front door to head outside to see the van. That's when I hesitated. I didn't know who was inside of the van or what they wanted with me. I stood there for maybe a minute, still listening to the van idle out the front of my house. I managed to finally work up the courage to open the door. I stepped outside just as the van was speeding off. It was a dark black van, and all of the windows had been blacked out too. It sped away quickly, and I barely made it out of the front door before the van had vanished. I was worried now, wondering what they wanted with me and what they were just doing. I went back inside and sat back down, making sure to avoid looking at the box on the kitchen table. I sat for maybe 20 minutes before I decided to go outside to see my dog, because I knew he would be able to provide some comfort. I went outside and called out to the dog, and usually when I do that, he comes straight over. But today, he didn't. In fact, I couldn't see him anywhere in the back garden. I looked all over for him, calling out his name, but I never got any response. I had a terrible feeling in my stomach. My missing dog and the van, I knew they were connected somehow. For whatever reason, I decided to turn on the TV, and as soon as I did, I saw him. My dog. The man in the purple suit was standing there patting him on his head, staring straight at me while doing it. There was also another dog standing next to mine. The last thing I heard the man say before my TV turned to static was,
And for today only, we have the great deal of buy one, get one 50% off.
So, did you enjoy this story? Let me know in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button to show me some support too. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Have a great night.